Good afternoon, people, and today we're going to learn about there is something called menu planning and also cover setup. So menu planning is a theoretical aspect we all know, but we need to understand what should be the common sense and our brain we need to use for set up menus and set up the dishes and set the cover. So we got a menu right now today. Cameraman, please, I request you to come forward. So take a look at this menu right now over here. So it's minestrone, that looks like a complete Italian table d'hôte menu or TDH menu. The first one is a minestrone soup, which means it's like it's from Italy, the national soup of Italy. Followed by there is a penne alfredo. Penne we all know is a pasta and alfredo is a type of white sauce. And there is a pollo alla cacciatore. Pollo alla cacciatore. Pollo is a chicken, cacciatore is a Thai style of preparation. So obviously it's a chicken preparation, okay? And then we got a tiramisu, the famous Italian dessert made with cocoa and cream, and it is also known as a pick-me-up. That's the translation into English, okay? So we will read this menu, we've already read this menu. Now we'll set the cover. What should be the ideal cutlery for this menu that we need to learn right now, okay? So please, let's start the walk. Now, as you can take a look, this is my cover. So I am setting up this cover, and we all know the size of a cover is 18 into 24 inches. So before even we set up any cover, what is the basic requirement that we need? We need a cruet set that we already have it here. Then we have a bud vase, okay? There is a napkin and there is a glass door. This is a basic need for any kind of cover that you do. Now we have to set the menu, set the, like your cover according to the menu that we take a look at over here, okay? So what is the first thing that we have? We have got minestrone, and we all know it's a soup. French classical menu, second semester if you remember. So minestrone, what should be the cover for minestrone? Ideally, when you serve a soup has to be served with a soup spoon. That's how our soup spoon look like. You can place it over here. Then followed by, for the soup, you also need a bread roll. So for bread roll, you will place the butter dish, and bread roll obviously come when the food will come from the restaurant, okay? And then there is a B&B plate, okay? And if there is a B&B plate, naturally there is a B&B knife. You can take a look, that's our B&B knife, okay? Now sometimes there are some hotel where you can also see there is a butter knife, looks like this, that will also come along with the butter, and sometimes there is a B&B. The B&B knife has lots of other purposes too. That's your B&B knife, and that's your soup spoon, and that's how we are ready with the soup cover. The next one that we have is a pasta. Now pasta is penne alfredo. It's a very common sense. Pasta is the only food which is consumed with a fork. So the cover for the pasta and the noodles are the only time when the spoon will come on the right hand side and come on the left hand side, I beg your pardon. So first is going to be our fork. This is the one and only food in the world where the fork is placed on a right hand side. But generally we all know in a restaurant all the fork are placed on the left hand side. Then I've got a spoon, it will be placed over here. Reason behind you are asking that why it is done like this. Reason behind this, guest will have a pasta something like this. He'll pierce the pasta here and then he will put it up in the fork like spaghetti. Spaghetti people eat something like this and then they will consume. So that's the reason fork always come on the right hand side and the spoon come on the left hand side. This has only happened in case of Maggi, noodles and your pasta. The next one is we have right now is pollo alla cacciatore. So pollo alla cacciatore is once again chicken preparation, and generally to serve a chicken we need what? We need a knife and fork. So our joint knife, you can take a look here, that will come over here, or the all-purpose knife, and then we have a fork, and the fork will be placed right over here. So the first course, so take a look at this, is very interesting. First course, second course, and this is our third course, okay? So that's how you need to deliver the cover, okay? Now you can also take a look, there is something called tiramisu. Tiramisu is a type of dessert that is made basically cream. Now when there is a cream, समझ लो आपको ice cream खाना है, तो what kind of spoon do you going to use? Use a teaspoon, like plastic disposable spoon, right? So obviously we have to put a teaspoon. No, there is something called dessert indication. And what is a dessert indication? Take a look at this. So dessert indication has to be placed like this. Now this is how our cover should look like. So basically the concept behind this, dessert indication are made such a way so that this spoon will come on the right hand side and fork will on the left hand side, and guest will have a dessert like this. Now there might be lots of question that is coming to your mind that, sir, then if it is so, then why we are putting a spoon and fork? Let me tell you one thing, there is something called indications. Indications means, now please understand one simple thing, that when you go to a hotel, you will find even if there is a tiramisu, or even if there is an ice cream, or even if there is a kulfi, the spoon and fork has to be placed like this. You know why? This gives an impression or an indication to the guest mind, yes, there is a dessert. So the fact is, whether your dessert is consumed with a teaspoon or an AP spoon or a fork, it really doesn't matter. Whatever it is, you have to place this indication over here, which means this means that there is a dessert indication. Now if it is a chocolate brownie, it's okay, but in case of ice cream, this is how it is. Okay? Another most important thing, how do I able to know that the size is perfect or not? Okay, chalo, I am a professional, so I'll do it in a perfect way. Always, whenever you set up a cover, it is always my decision. This is a joint plate, this is known as a dinner plate. The size of this plate is 10 inch. So always place the plate inside, I mean the center of the table, center of the cover, and then you can measure everything. Whenever you sometimes you say that this is go here, this is go here. So that's the reason it has to be like, you need to place something like this. So very careful, once you put this plate, you will get a clear idea that whether my measurement is absolutely correct or not. Okay? And also there is one more thing that you can take a look. Every time whenever I place a cutlery, this inch, there has to be a 1 inch of gap from the edge of the table. This is the edge of the table and there has to be just 1 inch. I mean like this much will do. So every cover should be 1 inch of gap. And also when you place a napkin, it has to be placed over here, which means the entire line. Let me take you a scale. If we take you a scale, so if you take a look at the scale, the entire size has to be like this. Take a look at this. Okay? There is slightly more, so we can put it here. And now we have got all the factors in one single line. This is how the cover has to be set for this kind of, this is how the cover has to be set for this kind of, now this is for the demo purpose I have kept. For this menu, this is the right cover. Now let's assume something else, okay? We will play the same game with an Indian menu. Now look, what I have to do now, so take a look at this. Okay, so now we have taken a look at the Italian menu. All the European style menu has to be almost same too like this. Now take a look at, we've got another menu. This is our completely Indian style menu where we got a tomato shorba, dal tadka, steamed rice, and in steamed rice we get an option of steamed rice and tawa roti and followed by kulfi. Okay. So what do you mean by these lines? These lines means course dividation. It's a like just keep it in mind every time. Say course dividation or CD. Okay. So what does it mean actually? We were telling the guest that the first course is over, that is the appetizer or soup, followed by the next course and the third course. Okay. So that's how the course demarcation is also known as a course demarcation. Like this is India, this is Pakistan, to create a border, something like this. Okay. Now we have to set the cover. Now let's come back to this table again. We need to do nothing more, just small adjustment. First of all, there is it's completely Indian style food. Indian style, you don't need any BNP knife. So remove the BNP knife. There is no soup, so obviously there is no need of butter dish. So I will also remove the butter dish now. There is a soup. Okay, I beg your pardon again. So it's soup that is served with a butter. But yes, also remember one thing why I say remove. Because you know in the hotel sometimes tomato shorba is served with the papad or poppadoms. Okay, this is the reason sometimes bread rolls are also avoided. But yes, if you're serving this to a foreigner guest, they always prefer to have a bread roll. Okay, so yes, bread roll is preferable, and also at the same time there is a butter. Okay, so there is a BNB knife, as you can, like butter knife, as you can take a look. Followed by the next one that we have is a dal tadka and steamed rice. This is very interesting. Take a look at this. So first of all, there is a dal, and there is a rice preparation, and there is dal and rice, and there is roti also. So let's take an example. The guest that we have, he will take rice and dal and roti all together. What will going to happen? So I've got a spoon that is for the rice. We all know we need a spoon, and followed by we also need a fork. Now this fork is for the rice. Now how do people eat rice? We eat rice something like this. This is a support. You give a support with the fork, and then you collect the rice on the spoon, and then you eat it. Something like this, okay? That is how the rice service should be done. I mean, like fork. This is the concept behind this idea. Now come the most interesting part. What about roti? Now, simple common sense says roti has to be consumed with hand. But people, let me tell you one thing. You are going to a 5-star hotel. You need to learn the culture and the system of 5-star. In the 5-star hotel, when you pay so much of money for one piece of roti, the roti should not be consumed with hand. I mean, if you're comfortable to eat by hand, that's okay because you're paying money. But ideally, traditionally, roti has to be consumed with a knife and fork. So already I have got a spoon with me, and there is a knife and fork too. So guest will consume, so the roti will be served on a B&B plate, and then the guest will take the roti, because it's nothing but a bread. It's a bread only, right? Like a bread roll, it is a bread. So you can cut the roti and you can consume, you can take the roti from here, put it on your plate, cut it with this, add some dal with the spoon. You can put some dal on the spoon, or you can straight away soft tawa roti. What you will do is just roll it and pierce it and dip it on the dal, and you can also consume. The basic concept behind roti is consumed with knife and fork. It looks very interesting, but that's the ethics, that's the law. Garlic naan, butter naan, cheese naan, all this thing, lachha paratha is also be consumed with the help of. Now understand one thing, chef also need to understand one simple thing, that rumali roti, tawa roti, your garlic naan, all this bread has to be cooked very soft. If you cook too crispy, what will happen? The fork will not going to get inside. If it gets soft, it will be cooked very easily. So that's the reason knife and fork has to be served. Okay. And finally, your dessert indication, that the spoon and fork will be always remain the same as for the kulfi. Kulfi is basically you can consume with the half of spoon, but still you can do it. Okay? Now the question that comes, once again, I'll tell you, you might be interesting to know this, sir. Do we really need a butter dish in case of an Indian food? See, there is a tomato shorba. Now, interesting fact is that if we remove the tomato shorba from here, okay, and we will add something like chicken tikka. What will happen now? What will happen now in chicken tikka? This will go away with the soup spoon and all, like butter dish and all. Instead of everything, you will just have an appetizer fork, appetizer knife, very, very sorry, it's not a knife, it's fork, and then you got an appetizer fork. Appetizer fork slightly smaller in size. B&B plate is constant, remember one thing. If I have a soup, Indian soup are basically, there is a famous soup from Rajasthan which is known as the Papad Mangodi ki Raab. Papad Mangodi ki Raab is kind of a soup which is consumed with a roasted papad. Now, even if you are serving this soup to a foreigner guest, what will happen? They will prefer to have it with a bread roll. But initially, as per the law, see, when you serving Indian food, it has to be served with the Indian style, that is papad. But when you serving, let's take an example, Chinese food, Chinese soup, sweet corn soup. Sweet corn soup is served with a Chinese condiment. Okay, bread roll is sometimes, there is no baked bread roll, there is something called steamed bread roll. This is what you need to keep in mind. Okay, so please, once again, you can take a look at the closer view of this thing. So this is how the cover has to be set, and this is my cover. And please also understand one simple thing, that every time when you do this thing, you need to measure this thing with this plate. Reason behind this, if you measure this, then only your cover will be in a proper place, otherwise not. And also keep in one thing in mind that the fork always stay on the right hand side, left hand side, and spoon on the right hand side. But remember one thing, in case of pasta, spaghetti, noodles, this get changed. So in case of pastas, this will come on this side. Rest all will remain exactly the same. Okay, right? So that's about it. And here's a napkin, here's our cover. Also, there's an interesting fact we need to understand that suppose now the guest is here. Take a look at this, what will happen. So if I sit over here and I've got all the covers laid in front of me, so see, my entire hand and plate and the chair width is actually coming inside the periphery of this cover, which is 18 into 24. Now I finish my chicken tikka, consume it, and the server will come like this. So when I finish my chicken tikka, server will come, they will take the plate, clear the plate, and put it over here. In reality, what will happen? Next is dal tadka and rice. I've got my second cutlery ready. So dal tadka rice is come on there. Roti is on over here. Tawa roti. I'll have consume everything. Then I need some roti. So what I'll do, I'll pick up some roti from here, and then I'll also take some dal and I will eat it. And if it is over, then I'll say yes, clearance, it's done. So then you can also clear this thing. Remember one thing, when you clear the main course, your BNP plate will also go away, because there is no need of dessert now. There is a dessert is going to come. So why there is a need of? Do you think there is a chicken bone or a dal bone? A bone of a mutton will be present? No. Dessert is completely cream and cheese and everything. And also there is no need of salt and pepper. So when the guest is about to have a dessert, that time all this thing will move over, and this thing will come like this. Okay? And finally, will be served dessert from the right hand side. So he will or she will consume the dessert. Finish. Go. This is a sequence of service. Not actually sequence of service. I have shown this fact on the guest point of view. Now remember one thing. The guest is God. The way you treat him, that's the way you need to do everything. That's the reason this is the video for the a la carte and table the setup. And now please understand what happened in case of a la carte now. Last and final. A la carte, there is a huge number of choice. Please don't take a look at this menu, because now this menu is over. A la carte is for all choice. Simple, basic a la carte cover for any kind of restaurant is like this. Just this. And there is a napkin, and there is a salt and pepper. This is the basic a la carte cover in any restaurant in the world. A spoon, fork, knife. This is what you need. If there is a soup option, then soup knife will come. Buffet restaurant, coffee shop with a buffet. If you go, only this thing will be there. Nothing else. So a la carte is very simple. This is everywhere is accessible. But table bhi hote or TDH menu, set menu that is right behind me, requires planning and common sense. Exercise your brain, and thank you very much.